I'm guessing that there are three types of people here. One, you're an existing Chrome customer, here to kind of just share the joys, the tribulations of going on this Chrome journey. So we're going to get a lot of that here with our panelists today. I'm guessing a second group, you've heard of Chrome. You're starting to maybe pilot or do a POC on it, and you just want to find out more and see what that path looks like as we move ahead. And we'll definitely get some of that going, some of those questions answered. We're going to have a dory open as well, so you can ask questions throughout the session as we progress. And then I'm guessing, and you don't need to identify yourselves, but there's probably a third group of you who's just tired of going to a session that talks about Kubernetes, containers, cloud, machine learning, AI. Totally fine. We welcome you here today, too, to take a break from the cloud talk as well. But hopefully you'll leave from this session having learned a bit about Chrome and what it takes to deploy Chrome and what it looks like as we try to increase adoption of Chrome devices and browser within our orgs. So I wanted to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Donna Chong. I run our customer success team for Chrome Enterprise. And my team is responsible for all of our post-sales deployment activities for our enterprise customers. We just try to make sure that our customers have a very smooth process deploying their Chromebooks or Chrome browser. And just making sure that we have our customers go through it as smoothly as possible and have a great experience. And so today, I have with me 3 of our customers on stage. And I'm going to go ahead and have them introduce themselves. But they're going to talk a little bit about what Chromebook adoption looks like for them. So maybe Josh, and then we'll go this way.
Hi, I'm Josh Chad. I'm a systems engineer at Starbucks Coffee Company. And currently, we have about 13,000 Chromebooks deployed in North America, so both Canada and the United States in all of our company-owned stores.
And Donna?
I'm Donna Chornawka, and I'm the managing director of our team member collaboration enablement team within ATB Financial. And so what my group does is we're about 50 team members strong, and we provide end user support on all devices as well as G Suite and Google Admin. And so with that, we have about 750 Pixelbooks within our environment across our province in Alberta.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jason Tahaney, and I'm the Director of IT for the Hunter Healthcare System. We're a healthcare system located in central New Jersey. We've been a Chrome customer now for about 2 years, and we have a little over 200 devices out there in production currently with plans to do a lot more. In fact, we're licensed for almost 1,000, and we're going to be rolling out a lot more later this year.
Cool. Well, welcome everyone on the stage. And now we're going to dig a little bit deeper just so you guys have a better understanding of where they're at with their deployments. So maybe we'll just go down the row again, talk a little bit about how you're using Chromebooks and where they're currently deployed today.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, we have at least one Chromebook in every single one of our stores that are company owned. And they're used primarily by all the partners, which is what we call our employees, to access things like scheduling software, our information portal, a few other like inventory tools, cash management, things that are just basic operational tools that everyone within the store has some need to access.
And Donna?
And within ATB Financial, we started our journey to using Chrome as our key browser, as well as then introducing Chromebooks into our environment as part of our G Suite implementation. So as a company, we made the decision to move on to G Suite in December of 2016, and then we deployed the full suite into our entire organization in July 2017. And so during that journey, we had seconded 50 people, which I'll talk about more, called G Evangelists. And at that time, we introduced the Chromebooks to them. So we had 50 Chromebooks within our environment, and they started to gain a better understanding of how to use Chromebooks, how to help our other team members to use the Chrome browser. And from there on in, we then gradually moved into Pixelbooks across our province.
And my story is very similar to Donna's. Our entry point to the Chrome devices was through G Suite, and we went live about 2 years ago with the G Suite products, includes Gmail. We used the Chromebooks for training and education during that time. We're really great. We kind of had this like mobile team that went out. We have a lot of physician practices. We're kind of in rural part of Jersey. I mean, not real. I mean, 30 minutes away is not so rural, but we still have rural areas. So a lot of our physician practices, you know, we used it as a tool to get out and train and educate, and it worked very well. We're also using Chrome in IT heavily. We use it on our help desk, you know, with the integration with all the G Suite. Looking at G Suite as a platform has worked very well for us in IT, and just moving out of IT. Our standard issue laptops are starting to deploy them as our standard issue laptops. So a new employee comes to the organization, you're going to be getting a Chromebook, and it's you know, for us it was security. We had to look at what the strength of it is. We felt was it was a modern operating system. It was secure by default, which is very important in healthcare with all the data breaches that we have to challenge. It had to integrate with our Windows environment as well, very important. We use VDI, VMware Horizon, as that product, but you can use Citrix as well, and it works very well. So we were very, very happy with it, and we're going to be doing a lot more. We want to move it out to our clinical desktops. So we have a tap and go solution called HealthCast, and that we use, you know, that we need to support that product, and I believe it's coming this quarter. Once that's available, then we're going to get Chrome devices out to our clinicians, and we're real excited about that. So.
That's awesome. Yeah. Awesome to hear about some future plans. And we'll talk more about the future plans as well. But in fact, let's just kind of jump right in. What did that implementation process look like for you in terms of getting Chrome into your environment and into the hands of your end users?
Sure. So we started with a proof of concept, and the important things, like I mentioned, were security. Right, it had to be easy to use. We also were looking for some cost savings in there too, because that was kind of the promise of it. And on the security front, I mean, the promise has worked out very well. I mean, we needed expensive software in our Windows environment to deploy encryption, to take one example. And the fact that it comes by default in our Chromebooks, and also tying to that patching and kind of those standard things you need to do in a Windows environment, the Chrome devices auto patch and do a very nice job of that. We really don't have to. I don't want to say it's set it and forget it kind of in security, but you never want to do that. But it's giving us a good sense of confidence during the proof of concept.
Do you happen to remember, or do you have a sense of how long it took for you to kind of prove it out? How long did that POC take for you to really make that go no go decision?
We did about 3 months, but just because we were doing the security part of it, we wanted to integrate it into our Microsoft environment as well for authentication. So you want to make sure users are using the same username and password that they use to log into their Windows computer. Make sure that worked on Chrome devices, and so that part of it worked very well. We also, the ease of use and want to understand. We kind of put it out to some of our clinicians to kind of see, hey, what do you think of this? Is it going to work pretty well? We actually, created some power users to help us with that process, and we got really good feedback. It was, I would say that we did a lot of training and education in the beginning, but I would say you really don't. I don't believe you really need it. I think I heard the number was about 1.5 billion Gmail users today. So having that, and these are Chrome devices, but having that familiarity, it's very similar, right? That Google kind of keeps they keep their products and their look and feel very similar, and I think that's carried over into Chrome, and it's worked out pretty well.
And Josh, maybe we can talk a little bit about your implementation process as well. And what were some of the challenges that you experienced while you were piloting it and then rolling it out to the stores?
Yeah, I would probably say the biggest challenges we had were the logistics of just shipping a device from a central location to about 10,000 different stores that are geographically diverse, as well as and without having to do a lot of pre-configuration, as well as implementing the security that we needed. So we had to partner with Google, Augusto, to write a custom app for us for an out-of-box experience. So when it did actually get to a store, they could go through a very short setup process so that we could, on our side in IT, we could identify where that device is. So if the store calls in, we don't need them to read off a serial number or something like that. We can just look up their location and find the affected device. And the other piece was getting client certificates on the device as easy as possible. And with that, we also used Product Cloud Path to integrate in with our PKI so that we could, during the enrollment process, provision certificates onto that device for things like Wi-Fi access and client cert auth for certain internal sites.
And I remember when we were doing the deployment initially, there were a bunch of security considerations that you guys had to account for with Starbucks. Maybe you can speak a little bit about that as well, the challenges there.
Yeah, so one thing that we really were careful of is we wanted this to be a shared device. So in a store of anywhere from 10 to 100 partners that work in there, that no data is going to stay resident on the device after the session's done, as well as there's no data from a store manager that's accessible by a barista or someone else that they don't need to see. So that was a huge consideration for us. So we actually run our Chromebooks in kind of an ephemeral mode where every time they log off, every single thing about that session is wiped from the computer. So it maintains security and a security posture and also just a legal compliance posture that works really well for our company.
Great, thank you. And Donna, your turn. We'll talk a little bit. Now we're moving into more of the change management front, and Donna definitely led a huge effort there for her particular implementation. So maybe you can speak a little bit about what's required from a change management perspective for Chrome and a bit of G Suite, because it's all tied together.
For sure. And we went live in July 2017, and we have over 5,500 team members. That's what we call our employees that are located across the province of Alberta in Canada. And we have over 300 locations. And so for us, as we looked at how to introduce Chrome and implement G Suite across the province and help all of our team members through the change, learning both the G Suite tool set, but then also accessing Chrome browser, we really took a different look at it and how we can help our folks. And so really, for us, the three success key factors for that was that we went out and we seconded 50 people from across our province, who we then called G-evangelists. And what they were really folks that were very diverse. They were from all regions of our province, so it wasn't just the big urban cities, it was from rural areas as well. They were also selected from people from, as we are a financial institution, we had people from our tellers, our CSRs, all the way up to managing directors in corporate office. And what that did is really bring together a diverse group of 50 people who really we trained in a 30-day boot camp on G Suite, on Chrome, on how to help our team members. And really it was about listening to our team members and helping them through the change. And our key mantra was no one was going to be left behind, because we're an 80-year-old startup company, and it's really about understanding that we had people who have just started with a company when we went live, and we also had people who've been in our financial institution for over 30 years, right? And so it's really understanding that team members and people all go through their own change management curve in a different way. And so this was really key for us to be successful. As we went through the change, the following year, we then introduced Pixel books into our environment. And so I would say the second success factor there was we really focused on our C-suite and our executives first. And you might think, wow, that was pretty bold to have them test your tools, and was that a lot of hand-holding? And I would say it wasn't. They really found the tool easy to use. And we thought that if they would be on side, that they would be our biggest cheerleaders, and they were. So it really became that they came to us and said, we want our teams to have this, we want our leaders to have it. And so right now, most of our users are our C-suite, our executive, and for sure the branch managers located across our province. Right. And then the third key success factor, I would say, is right now last year we brought in-house all of our technical supports, our IT help desk. And so what we did is we really grew a team of who we call tech gurus. So we don't call them IT help desk, we call them tech gurus. And they're really customer service oriented. And so they're really there to help all of our team members with Chrome, their questions, as well as Pixelbooks. And we utilize, you kind of heard this morning on the keynote speaker, we really utilize chat for our team members to come in and ask questions. So we have chat rooms set up. so you can access our tech gurus. We have over 3,000 people already in our tech chat room asking questions about how to do this, how to do that. And then the second part of that group, we also have product managers who provide support on G Suite. And so we have a Google G Suite chat room as well. And so between those two forums, we're able to have a group of our own ATB team members helping ATB team members with their technology.
Great. And I mean, if you were to, would you do anything different? Would you have, if you were to do this again, would you do both together again, G Suite and Chrome? Is it, were there any challenges to doing them so close together?
Yeah, we would definitely do it together because as they were learning how to access G Suite, it just came in really easy to then introduce Chrome. So we would definitely do that over again.
Cool.
And I would agree with that. We maybe deploy more during G Suite because it really was we recognized it was good. There was good value to doing the education, but we didn't quite totally get it. So and it took a little bit longer to deploy. So yeah, definitely would deploy more when we're doing G Suite. You're moving down that product.
And now let's talk about kind of the aha moment for you guys. When did you guys decide Chrome was the right way to go in terms of the technology that you want to move your org to? Maybe we'll just start down the row again from Josh.
Yeah, I think for us, it was really during the pilot phase when we were seeing kind of the issues that our pilot stores were calling in about and how simple they were to solve. Because we eliminated a lot of points of failure over a more traditional kind of like Windows device that we'd had previously. So really, there were just very few things that we had to spend time troubleshooting. And it freed up a lot more time for our help desk analysts to work on much more complex calls because they could solve things much more easily, or the stores themselves could solve it without ever having to call in.
And I think when we talked about it before, you're saying that there were fewer calls coming in for Chrome specifically, and now it's just basically you managing everything coming in for Chrome.
It's pretty much today. We're in, I think, year 4 of our deployment, and I'm the primary engineer, and there are a couple of analysts on my team that also help support it, as well as our help desk operation. But we have very few calls, very few things escalated to us. It's probably less than 5% of the work that we have come in today just to do any kind of support activities around them.
That's great. And Donna, how about your aha moment with Chrome?
Yeah, because we introduced it with G Suite, the aha moment came just as we saw people utilizing G Suite in a much more collaborative fashion. And so my aha moment really came, we also introduced and put in CFMs in all of our meeting rooms at the same time. And so my aha moment was just how easy it was to take in your Chromebook or your Pixelbook into one of our meeting rooms, have the CFM right there, and you just connect to the meeting. And so it just the ecosystem with having CFMs, Pixelbooks, and G Suite all together was my aha moment by saying this is a great, easy experience for team members to use.
That's great.
And for us, I think there was a couple. One was really when our departments were coming to us for Chromebooks. They had seen them, other people had them, and they were just coming to us for Chromebooks as well as wanting to use them with G Suite applications. So one example was our patient safety huddle, which leadership meets every daily to kind of review any potential safety hazards in the organization. And we use Chromebooks for that and Google Sheets. So those two products to kind of track what we're doing around patient safety. And it came to us, right? We didn't have to sell it, do anything like that. And another example was in our emergency department. They actually developed their own intranet site with Google Sites on Chrome devices. And because we were a large Microsoft SharePoint customer at that prior to this. So moving to Team Drive and the suite of products with Chrome was one of our goals was to consolidate all of that data that we had out there. And so, we were driving that project, but then we also had departments coming to us like the ED where they wanted to do their own thing. So that was pretty nice. And then in IT, I would agree on the management side. It's just incredibly easy to manage, especially on the security side. Whenever you hear, okay, security is easy, you kind of question that a little bit, right? So, but it truly has been for us, and seeing we have standardized on Chrome browsers as well, and then the Chrome devices that are out there, seeing that auto patching work, running our reporting to see, well, is this actually really working, and seeing that it is. And by the way, we're doing it without any extra software, so it's included as part of the platform, which is very nice. And you get these features, by default, and they're constantly innovating, right? So, I mean, that's one of our main reasons why we went with Google, was because of their ability to innovate, and we felt they were in the best vendor to do that, cloud provider. So.
And so what's next for you, for all of you, I guess, in terms of your Chrome journey? Where are you going with the adoption? Are you rolling out more devices?
Well, definitely for us, we're going to roll out more devices. We have the partnership with HealthCast and Google. Once it's really any day now. And HealthCast is a tap and go solution, so that's kind of big in healthcare, right? Being able to move from computer to computer and have your desktop session move with you via tap and go, via an employee badge. So once that is certified to run on Chrome, which is coming any day, we're going to be moving that out to all our clinicians on all of our, anywhere we provide patient care. And it's going to be, we're excited about that because, right now, those are Windows devices that are really they're really sort of like a kiosk. Think about it. They're not actually using the underlying operating system on that device. So there's really no reason to have all those have that out there and have to worry about, patching it for security and all those kind of challenges that we have. So putting the Chrome devices out there, we feel, very confident that's going to give us a nice, secure tool out there for our clinicians that's not going to get in the way of what they do every day. And it's going to be a lot easier for IT to manage than what kind of, I want to call headaches, but just the normal IT headaches that you have on managing a lot of devices. So.
Yeah, very similar to roll out, continue to roll out Pixelbooks and replace our window environment and the laptops out there right now. And again, showcasing and advocating how easy a Pixelbook is to use and just helping people adopt that. So again, continuing to roll out Pixelbooks within our environment. Josh?
Yeah, and for us, we're really just looking at refining the overall experience on our our very large fleet that's out there. So really just making it maybe a little bit quicker, seeing what other use cases within the store it makes sense to put on there and different workloads, as well as just making access into that faster for specific apps or functions that the stores do today. And just overall just making it a really easy experience for them and just continuing on that journey.
Excellent. And then, for those members of the audience that are here learning about Pixel or learning about Chromebooks for the first time, what kind of advice do you guys have for customers who are evaluating it for the first time?
I would say it's very, very easy to deploy. I mean, your user base is, the training, you don't really need that much training and education. We kind of thought we did, and we found that we didn't. So, and for us, it's a modern operating system. So anytime we can, anytime we can do that in healthcare is a good thing. So depending on your industry, I would just jump in. I'll just do it. It's worked out very well for us. So.
Yeah, I would echo that I would definitely support it. Yeah, if you would have seen the keynote speaker this morning, our CTO, Wellington Holbrook, had said, we would never go back off of G Suite. And so I would just add an and onto that is that since we've gone on to G Suite and used the Chrome browser and used our Pixelbooks, we would never go back. We are all about looking at our team member experience and using their technology and ensuring that it's a seamless and it's a good experience. And so as you can imagine, as we run a bank, is that we always want our team members who are front-facing in front of our customers to have technology that works for them, right? And that it's seamless and it's easy to use, because we always want our team members to have a good experience with their technology that just enables them to provide a better customer experience. And so as we look at what those tools are, we continue to look at Chrome, we continue to look at Pixelbooks and saying, how might we make this work for them?
Yeah, and for us, it's very much just through that lens of security and how easy it was to implement the security, how easy it was to do at scale and to manage it all at scale. So, I manage a lot of users, I manage a lot of devices, and it's just very simple once you're, even at pretty much every stage, with a very small team, deploy a very large number of these devices very quickly.